Coming up on WFT's First at 5, a new chief of police to be sworn into the Gainesville Police Department tonight.
Plus, a major accident leaves 2 Palm Beach County deputies dead and a third fighting for his life.
And expect some early winter weather going on into the holiday season. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Gainesville's first Hispanic chief of police is being sworn in today. Welcome to WFT's First at 5. I'm Kirsten Maselka.
And I'm Nick Diaz. WFT's Charlize Ramos is live at Gainesville City Hall to tell us more about the new police chief.
Nelson Moya is no stranger to the job with more than 30 years of experience. He served as the interim police chief and also as the assistant chief. Moya was selected back in September as the Gainesville chief of police after a nationwide search. Some of his most notable accomplishments since joining GPD include gun violence and violent crime prevention initiatives. He is making history as the first Hispanic police chief in Gainesville.
I heard he's Hispanic, and that's good, representing what's happening in our culture. We have a lot more Spanish speakers around. I know they're trying to get more officers and more liaison people that can speak Spanish, and so that's a good thing.
Moya has also led recruitment efforts to bring new officers to GPD. City leaders and Gainesville community members will join here in about half an hour to celebrate and welcome Chief Moya. Reporting live from City Hall, Charlize Ramos, WUFT News.
The city of Gainesville is enacting its cold night shelter program after temperatures are slated to drop below 45 degrees tonight. City officials anticipate dangerously cold conditions up until the 25th.
Important that we want to be able to lend a hand to individuals to get out of the cold, and this is a program that is a valuable resource to our community, especially when the weather is this nippy.
The 2 locations for cold night shelters are St. Francis House and Grace Marketplace. Each house provides temporary shelter for either families or individuals. The program normally runs from November to March, and shelters are expected to stay open until overnight low temperatures rise above 45 degrees.
This drop into colder temperatures is already starting to affect us over here in Gainesville. WUFT's Matthew Clark joins us now to see how this chilly winter season is going to shape up as we approach the weekend.
Yeah, it's only going to get colder tomorrow when you wake up and then Saturday, but some of us did see 45 degrees this morning up in Perry, Live Oak, and Lake City. So that 45-degree benchmark is pretty chilly. We're all going to see that for the most part tomorrow morning when we're waking up. Right now, though, we do have an orange and blue sunset setting up on our campus cam. Right now, temperature is 61 degrees, winds from the west around 8 miles per hour. So it's been a little bit breezy out there right now. Wish this campus cam was set up a little bit more so we could see that sunset in totality. If you go outside, you will be able to catch it, though, because it is crystal clear outside. This afternoon, though, those high temperatures were 64 degrees in Gainesville and 66 in Ocala. Didn't even break 70 across north central Florida. Going to drop those temperatures into the upper 40s as we head into midnight and then into the lower 40s when we're waking up.
2 Palm Beach County deputies are dead and a third is seriously injured after a major crash on Southern Boulevard. The deputies were riding down the highway with their department-issued motorcycles when they were hit by an SUV. The injured deputy was airlifted from the scene to a hospital in West Palm Beach. Florida Highway Patrol is investigating the cause of the collision. Little is known at this time on why the crash occurred.
Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz announced his withdrawal from consideration for Attorney General amidst sexual misconduct allegations. Several Republican senators expressed concerns about the Gaetz nomination. Gaetz was on Capitol Hill yesterday with Vice President-elect J.D. Vance to gain support from senators confirming nominees.
The message from this current nomination being pulled is that we are taking our job seriously and we will continue to do so.
House Democrats are pushing for the release of the Ethics Committee report pertaining to the sexual assault allegations against Gaetz despite his withdrawal.
Marion County Sheriff's Office is on the lookout for 2 thieves who stole from an elderly woman, not out of her purse, but through an ATM. Here are surveillance camera screenshots from the Walmart on Bahia Avenue of the 2 people involved in the theft. The victim was using a self-checkout machine when the woman distracted the victim. Using this distraction, her partner was able to read the victim's PIN number from the machine. The duo cashed out over $900 from the victim's account. Call the Crime Stoppers of Marion County if you have any information on their whereabouts.
Second Amendment groups have long campaigned for a Florida open carry law, but the legislature has never passed the bill. New Senate President Ben Albritton has showed pushback against allowing openly carried guns in the Sunshine State, aligning with law enforcement officials. He expects this year's legislature to do the same.
Senators, they file bills all the time about various issues. If a bill gets filed that deals with that, then we'll take a close look at it, see what the implications are. But at the end of the day, it's due real caution.
Floridians can carry concealed weapons, but lawmakers have stopped at allowing open carry firearms. Florida's 2025 legislative session starts in March.
The city of Gainesville has received an $800,000 federal grant to improve roadway safety from the U.S. Department of Transportation. The grant was based on Gainesville's Vision Zero Action Plan, which included data on Gainesville crash severity and type. The city says the funds will be used to improve stretches of road with little to no street lighting, especially those with high pedestrian activity. Experts project that federal grants, along with local funds awarded to UF and Alachua County, will total $3 million towards traffic safety.
This holiday season, local organizations like Bread of the Mighty and Farm Share are working to ensure no family goes hungry. WUFT's Valentina Sandoval went out to a pantry and food drive to tell us more.
For some, the holidays are a time for family unity over the dinner table. Community food drives and distributions are making sure that every family is able to enjoy this season without worrying about food insecurity. Some spend the week before Thanksgiving preparing for a feast. Longtime Gainesville resident Jeff Charbonnet lends his time to ensure other families have a meal on their table. He volunteers at the Bread of the Mighty food bank.
The holiday times are so often all spent around the dinner table, and it's really wonderful when people can have a nice Thanksgiving meal together and build their family.
Charbonnet and a group of volunteers spend their morning sorting and packaging boxes for a food drive.
This is a very important time to be making sure that all of the food resources that are available are spread to all of the people in our community who need them.
According to the most recent data from the Florida Department of Health, the food insecurity rate in Alachua County in 2021 was 11.1, higher than the statewide average of 10.6. For that reason, community member Rodney Long organizes a yearly food drive with the food bank Farm Share.
Alachua County is a food desert. It is definitely an area that has a high concentration of people who are food insecure.
1,500 households received boxes. The gratitude and graciousness from the givers to the receivers is why Long encourages people to help.
But not just during the holiday season. They should do it throughout the entire year.
To combat food insecurity all year round. If you missed the Farm Share food drive, you still have time to donate to the Bread of the Mighty food drive Saturday. It starts at 9:30 a.m. at 6125 Northwest 18th Drive. Live in the studio, Valentina Sandoval, WUFT News.
When First at 5 returns, we'll cover the story of a woman's unexpected talent and how the help of her family and mentors, she's taking it to the big stage.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The power of song is bringing a mother and daughter closer together despite the challenges.
WUFT reporter Juan Chaoui tells us how this family is defying the odds and showing that anyone can sing.
Allison Gross sits at the piano. Her fast fingers dance on the ivory keys. Her daughter Isabel next to her, singing with precision and passion.
Music's been a big part of her life from the very beginning.
It's a special bond any parent hopes to have with their child.
All I did at home was sing to her. She was a really happy, easy kid.
When she's singing, everything is right in the world. But when the music stops,
Number 2.
reality sets in.
There you go.
19-year-old Isabel.
Number 3.
Born with partial brain damage, which means everyday tasks like completing kindergarten level homework are a challenge.
Every day is just harder for her than the average person in some ways.
It wasn't easy for Isabel growing up.
She was slow to develop in every possible way that you could name. She was slow to walk, she was slow to sit up, she was slow to babble, she was slow to talk.
But she was quick to sing.
She could say, sing words to songs fluently before she could ever string 2 words together in a speaking voice.
Music came to Isabel as naturally as breathing. Allison put her singing savant in Shining Star Music Academy, where she met Katrina Mendez.
First time I met Isabel, she gave me a big old hug, and she was really excited, and it was almost like show and tell. Isabel just wanted to sing all the songs she knew for me and show me all the things that she loved.
Katrina taught Isabel for a short time before Alexia de la Valle, who specializes in opera, took her on as a student.
Being Isabel's teacher is a special job.
She used to go to Isabel's house for lessons before moving to North Carolina after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Zing, zing. Oh, yes, that was much better.
De la Valle doesn't let distance keep her from her star pupil, though.
She's an incredible musician. Just naturally, her musical ear is fantastic.
And even though she can't form long sentences in English, she sure can carry a tune in French.
She loves learning the sounds of the language because she can mimic it so well. She also sings in German. She sings in Italian.
Lately, Isabel spends every night practicing for her big day, a recital. Allison sits at the piano. Her fast fingers dance on the ivory keys. Her daughter, Isabel, next to her.
Her gift that she brings is she's an occasion for love.
Singing with the same precision and passion.
Yeah.
In Gainesville, Juan Carlos Chaoui, WUFT News.
Well, we woke up in the 40s this morning. We may be waking up in the 30s on Saturday. I'll have that in your weekend forecast after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The rain that we got on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning was a part of the cold front that was going to bring in cold temperatures, and we finally started to see some of those cold temperatures this morning when we woke up here in Gainesville. Temperature 47 degrees. In the further north, we went 45 in Lake City through Live Oak and Perry. It's pretty cold temperatures on our Thursday morning. Highest temperatures this afternoon weren't even as high as the temperatures last night around 11. I think it was around 70 degrees last night around 11, but we didn't even peak into the 70s. 64 in Gainesville is a high, 66 in Ocala, and 67 in the villages. So it's been a beautiful, very chilly day, and it's been pretty windy out there as well, giving us a little bit of a wind chill. And again, those 24-hour temperature change, look at that, 14 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago yesterday, 14 pretty much across most of the board, 12 in Ocala and 10 degrees difference in the villages. So a lot of us are feeling a lot colder than we were this time yesterday. That cold front is really starting to set in, bringing in a lot of cold air from the north and a lot of snow across the Midwest into Kentucky and Indiana up north. But we're not going to see any of that snow down here. But I mean, it feels like the temperatures are nearly cold enough as we head into tonight. I mean, that cold front's draped over the Caribbean now, bringing in a lot of that cold air. So we're going to start to feel that cold air as we head into tomorrow. I mean, that sunset, beautiful sunset out there. I mean, actually incredible. Orange and blue skies, very Gator-esque sunset temperature right now. 61 degrees with winds from the west around 8 miles per hour. So it is a little breezy out there. Beautiful sunset over Ben Hill Griffin Stadium out there. Again, it's been windy today, bringing us a little bit of a wind chill. 10 miles per hour winds right now, but 17 up in Live Oak and 16 in Perry. It's been pretty windy out there, bringing us a little bit of a wind chill. So that wind is going to keep up pretty much cold, and then as the sun starts to set, once that long wave radiation gets up into the atmosphere, the temperatures are going to drop into the 40s. And if you have a husky or if you like the cold weather, this is beautiful weather for you because those temperatures are going to drop into the lower 40s. And then when we're waking up tomorrow, those temperatures are going to be in those low 40s, 43 in Gainesville, 41 in Lake City, and then 41 over in Live Oak. Look at that, 38 degrees in Perry. They're seeing some 30s on Friday morning. Most of us are going to see those 30s on Saturday morning. The rest of your Friday, though, the sun is going to be out all day. Same kind of day as it was today, just a little bit colder with highs in the low 60s. Winds from the north are going to keep us cold. Then as the sun starts to set, we're going to drop into the lower 50s. Once that sun goes down, it gets pretty cold very fast. Saturday morning, we could see some frost in our area with most of us seeing 30s. Look at that, 38 degrees in Gainesville, 35 in High Springs. So on Saturday, we do have our game day in the swamp. So if you're driving from elsewhere and you're waking up around 7 or 6 a.m., these temperatures are going to be very chilly for us. So if you're driving to Gainesville, expect to see temperatures in the 30s. Going out to tailgate around 9 a.m., 47 degrees in Gainesville, so still very early. Frost could be possible around this time as well. And then noon kickoff, sunny but not warm still, 59 degrees at our noon kickoff. The sun's going to be out overhead. So in the sun, it feels a little bit warmer. It's going to be pretty chilly out there for the most part. The rest of the week, though, those temperatures are going to start to slowly rise. And then we got Thanksgiving on our Thursday, 78 degrees there.
Coming up in sports, the high school football playoff race is heating up with regional semifinals games kicking off tomorrow. And we're live at Buchholz High School ahead of the Bobcats game against Pace. Hear more about the week of preparation and more when we get back after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Happy Thursday and welcome to sports. I'm Daniel Haviv. It's the back half of November, and that means high school football playoffs are in full swing. With many local teams still alive, we turn to Buchholz, who faces a tough Pace team on Friday. WFT's Jesse Simmons is live at the school just over 24 hours before their big game. Jesse, there's a path for this team to go all the way.
The November breeze has set in and it's beginning to feel chilly, and I'm paying for it with no sleeves. But the Buchholz Bobcats are on absolute fire right now, coming off a huge win in preparation for a regional semifinal game against the Pace Patriots. Now, the 2-seed 8-3 Bobcats stomped Evans High School 41-21 last week at home in Gainesville and will enjoy the comfort of home again tomorrow night. Riding the speed and shiftiness of junior DJ Hicks, who racked up 152 yards and 2 touchdowns against Evans, and one of the biggest offensive lines in the state, averaging 310 pounds across the front, Buchholz looks to carry this formula of success over a Patriots team who hasn't lost a game since August 30th. Bobcats head ball coach Mark Whittemore knows just how tight this matchup will be.
We need to make sure that we don't give them too many opportunities to just sit on the ball. However, they also got a really, really good tight end that can stick a fork in you when you least expect it. So we've got our work cut out for us, and it's going to be what we like to call a slugfest.
Buchholz is just 4 wins away from a 6A state championship, and the road continues at Citizens Field on Friday against the Patriots in a 7 o'clock game you will not want to miss. Live from Buchholz High School, I'm Jesse Simmons, WFT Sports.
And for some other local teams still competing for a state championship, Newberry heads to Bradford as both teams sit with 9 wins on the year. Reigning state champions Hawthorne host Lafayette after a big upset in the first round, and Fort White and Williston meet. All 3 games kick off at 7:30 on Friday. Gators football is 1 game away from bowl eligibility, with Ole Miss and Florida State still left on the schedule. After a big win over LSU last weekend, qualifying for a bowl game is now the expectation for the program. Winning at least one of these last 2 games will get the team into the postseason. And ahead of Saturday's game against Ole Miss, the injury report was released, and notably Montrell Johnson Jr. was left off the list. Gators men's and women's basketball are both in action on Friday night, with the men staying home and the women hitting the road. Starting with the men, a 5-0 record to start the year has the guys ranked 21st in the nation. Florida hosts Southern Illinois on Friday and will look to start 6-0 for just the 2nd time in the last decade. 5 Gators are averaging double figures so far this season, led by Walter Clayton Jr.'s 18.4 points per game. Tip-off for tomorrow's game is set for 7 p.m. from the O-Dome. And moving to the women, they head on the road to face in-state rivals Florida State. Both the Gators and Seminoles have only 1 loss on the season thus far. Florida's last game was against Miami last Saturday. They were unable to stop the Cavender twins, who dropped a combined 43 points. Friday's game against FSU also tips off at 7. Gators volleyball took care of business against Auburn last night, as Florida only has 1 home game remaining in 2 crucial conference matchups. The Gators currently sit at 2nd in the SEC behind Kentucky. Nationally, Florida is ranked 20th and is in prime position to earn a high NCAA tournament seeding. This is a team that has not lost a match in over a month. The Gators will host their senior night this Saturday against UCF. And one final note, the Gators have sold out their 12th straight home football game, with Ole Miss coming into town Saturday. And with Saturday's game being at noon, I heard it's going to be pretty cold.
Yeah, when you're waking up on Saturday, the temperature's going to be in the 30s, so that is pretty cold.
Well, Matthew, there's no way I'm missing the last game, but it's definitely going to be one of the coldest I've ever been to.
Absolutely, but I, for one, am looking forward to the cold. I'm from Maryland, so I'm used to the cold game days. I love fall and just seeing the leaves change, so I hope it's cold. But, Daniel, how are the Gators going to fare? They're not used to this.
Yeah, I think they're going to play great with DJ Lagway at the helm, Montrell Johnson coming back, and the Gators riding a great win over LSU. I think they win out and get bowl eligibility. But, Matthew, give us one final look at the weather.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not ready for that cold weather on Saturday morning. I mean, look at that, 38 degrees as a low on Saturday. That's around 7 a.m. So if you're driving from other cities into Gainesville, you're probably waking up to come tailgate early. You're going to be seeing those 30s when you're waking up. Some frost is also possible on Saturday morning. Temperature's going to get up into the low 60s as we head into game time, but still, that 60s with sunshine and breeze, it's still going to feel very cold, and that's colder than room temperature. Sunday, we're going to start to get a little bit warmer, still waking up in the 30s, but getting back into the 70s as our highs. And then as we head into Monday and into Thanksgiving break week, we see those temperatures climb up into the mid-70s, getting a little break from the cold. I can't believe I'm saying that. We've been seeing a lot of warm temperatures lately, but we're getting a break from the cold as we head into next week. And then Thursday, see that turkey dancing. That is Thanksgiving.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.